The following is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
An icon reborn. A new season begins. Drivers must face off wheel to wheel with only one goal: to be crowned champion. Experience the competition and the glory days of early 80s IndyCar action. Hear the song of 500 horsepower Cosworth engines. Watch as drivers wrestle these ground effects cars into submission. Without electronic driver aids, it creates the perfect combination of man, machine, and speed. The Lionheart Retro Series, presented by HPP Simulation, starts now.
Two to go, and the next time by will be the white flag. Two drivers with a serious chance to win this championship. Two more with an outside chance. Two drivers have a chance at the Cleanest Driver Award. Call me the count, but I think the number of the day is... Hello everyone watching on the iRacing Esports Network, and welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green, presented by The Sim Pit. As cyberspace flows into your place over the next 15 minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to appreciate the Lotus 79 action that will immediately follow as we count down to green for the LPM Grand Prix of Road America. Adam Young here with you tonight, alongside me, my partner in crime for many a broadcast, Bill Susan. I'm Jed Yaman, has director duties, armed with cameras locked and loaded by Dougie Beard. Now, I didn't want to mention in the intro, but we've got three teams in the running for the Teams Championship, but I didn't want to break the theme there. It's a warm one today at Road America, just perfect for our last road course of the season and the penultimate round of the 2018 campaign. Last year, Adam Blocker took the win here, and he'd like to repeat that in this tight championship battle he has going on with Alex Saunders. But they have to get to a checkered flag on a track with plenty of tight 90-degree corners as the next to last race. Soup, why don't you tell us about one of the best natural terrain road courses in the country?
Bill Gates and Steve Jobs were born in 1955, the very same year this legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road course came into existence. Located on 640 acres of park-like grounds between Milwaukee and Green Bay, in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, the rolling terrain offers great viewing opportunities for the fans. The track itself remains virtually unchanged to this day, though advanced safety requirements have transformed the look of this place from a country roadside to a modern racing circuit complete with wide grassed runoffs. Considered by some to be the best test of road racing in North America, and if a picture is worth 1,000 words, imagine the value of a video narrated by Joe Peak. That's just what we're going to give for you right now as we take a lap around America's National Park of Speed.
All right, we've got Jed Yaman in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Road America. Coming across the start-finish line, the run down to Turn 1 is going to be one of your best opportunities to pass. This first corner is admittedly pretty swift, but there's still plenty of braking to give you a chance to sneak up the inside. Watch the dirt on the exit because it can spin you. As we run through the short chute to Turn 3, really focus on getting the exit right for this corner. Being able to defend or attack, as well as simply laying good lap times down, really depends on getting yourself a decent launch. You can see the moraine sweep is quite a long stretch, and it'll end into the heavy braking of Turn 5. All of these factors combine to mean that this is easily one of the most popular passing spots on the track. Be careful though, because it's also terribly easy to overshoot. If someone has a nose in on you, try for the over-under. From there, it's a quick blast to Turn 6 where the crest on entry will catch many drivers out. Do your best not to skitter off into the grass. Switch sides and then keep it flat through Turn 7. We're now into the hurry downs, which ends with Turn 8. Sneak attacks are possible here, and a lot of times drivers aren't expecting the need to defend. From there, get to the left and give yourself a nice wide entry under the bridge into the carousel. This corner feels like it goes on forever, but ideally you want to get a little wide so that you can cut back and open up the exit. That'll bring us to the infamous kink. Thankfully, the ground effects on the 79 make it a less scary proposition, and you can take it flat. Into the kettle bottoms, the track is going to weave left, which means to line up your braking for Canada Corner, try not to come in at an angle. Hug the left side, get it slowed up, and be careful not to get too aggressive on the brakes because there's not much sand trap before you find the tires. After that, turn 13A will be blind, but once again, no problem in the Lotus. Get the car back to the left side as soon as you can, and make sure to clip the apex and get to the power early for the final turn. Carry that momentum to ensure the car can chug up the hill with a lot of grunt behind it. Hopefully, you kept it all together and have now finished a lap around Road America.
And that lap around Road America, as well as the entire countdown to green, comes courtesy of its sponsor, the Sim Pit, an entertainment channel dedicated to sim racing. Its mission is to bring you news, reviews, and information from around the world about sim racing hardware and software. It also focuses on what it takes to be a better sim racer with instructional videos and how-tos that will help your performance on the virtual track. Check it out at thesimpit.com. And now check out these stats as we're going to bring you the Driver Championship. And of course, this comes courtesy of HPP Simulations. Now, when you take the team name into account, it's only fitting that someone who races for Nighthawk Motorsports, like Alex Sanders, might sleep through the start of the season, while somebody who races for Adrenaline Motorsports, like Adam Blocker, would be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. But even though Saunders did miss round one, the up-and Adam Blocker has raced in every event. Because of the mystical attributes of drop races, the raw number gap of 59 is reduced to a best 14 of 16 result interval of only 18 markers. Okay, the Candyman for Raven Motorsports, that's Dustin Wardlow, and Michael Goodman for 8-Ball Motorsports, they both have wins this season, as does Jason Galvin in 13th. The only driver this season with a win not making the Sweet 16 overlay is Real World IndyCar driver Sage Karam. A 7th in Montreal made James Brandt, the big mover on the ladder, up 3 rungs to 12th, while a Canadian no-show from the aforementioned Jason Galvin, well, that moved the Bakersfield boy down. He's going to win the big drop honors as he falls 4 spots down into the Baker's dozen spot. Let's go ahead and look at the team standings now, brought to you by Clipping That Apex. Last round, before we reported how Skidmark was closing the gap to No Name Racing. Well, before this round, we can report mission accomplished as Scott Johnson and Bart Workman moved their team into 5th. Everybody else holds station, but that 100-point interval between Raven and 8-Ball is not unspannable considering the double points event that will close the season. And that's coming up next round. All right, Adam, what about the rookie standings?
Yeah, those Rookie of the Year standings. Alex Saunders, of course, at the top of that. You know, Michael Goodman, just like in the driver's standings, has a very, very outside chance of being able to capture the rookie standings, but it's pretty much going to take him winning out and Alex Saunders to have some sort of epic collapse, and neither of which seems like they're on the horizon. Brian Yazik in a fight for 3rd there with Justin Weaver. So still some positions that can move around. As you can see, quite a bit of moving around here in just the last between now and the last race as well, with Brandt, Workman, and Cohn all moving up spots on this leaders board. And of course, the Lionheart sanctions both this series and the Big Sister IndyCar series, and both campaigns honor the memory of the original Lionheart, Dan Weldon. With that in mind, let's go and take a look at those retro series details here, Sue.
Here you go. It is season 2. This is the penultimate round. You can see there that there are 2 drop races allowed for. We talked about that when we talked about the court. The points, of course, our car is the Lotus 79 that Mario Andretti drove to a championship in Formula One back in 1978. The setups are fixed, but they're adjusted. The series setup kings play around with it, find something that'll be raceable, but also safe. And how about cash-in prices? $4,391. That includes an HPP wheel. You know, HPP is giving away a wheel to the champion in this series, And we talked about the Lionheart IndyCar Series. Let me correct myself. They're giving away pedals in this series, and they're giving away a wheel in that IndyCar Series. So HVP, a great sponsor indeed.
Yeah, you know, always great to have folks like HVP on board here with Lionheart. Now, as far as the weather here today, well, up in Elkhart Lake, in the real Elkhart Lake, about 40 degrees out there. They got a little bit of snow on the ground and everything else up there. But here in our virtual world, well, we're hanging out at almost double that. We're sitting at about 77 degrees out there here right now. Southwesterly winds helping out with that about 8 miles per hour. So nice warm day in the virtual world, and I'll take that over the real world this time of year in Wisconsin because I did that for 5 years, and I know what that's like. Well, we're watching qualifying out there right now, and on the top of the leaderboard is, no surprise, Adam Blocker riding on board now with Dan Guerin. Dan Guerin sitting out there, looks like in 7th position here provisionally, Soup, and got a couple of quick guys out there, but Adam Blocker by far the fastest here. So
Dan Guerin has been incredibly hot over in the sister series, the IndyCar Series, where he got a win last night, and has really been on fire the last 7 or 8 races. Adam Blocker leads in both series in the points, sitting second right now. There's David Altman.
Yeah, so he's trying to come home with the pedal and wheel combination here this season. Hey, so we got David Altman, of course, right there with David Altman. David Altman was able to get the podium here, his first podium last year, and now we're looking at Adam Blocker. Adam Blocker was the winner of that race here last year, though, too. So both those guys looking to try to repeat their success here from just one season ago with Adam Blocker. Adam Blocker really wants to repeat that win, I think, Soup. I mean, I cannot believe this championship fight. And I know we're going to talk a lot about the just the overall Drivers' Championship, and of course it deserves to be talked about. But there's still a lot of spots up for grabs in that top 16, isn't there?
There are, and that the drivers want to make that overlay to be on the to be in the pre-race show, the Sim Pit Countdown to Green. They like to be there. We're looking at Andrew Kinsella. There's a guy comfortably on that chart.
Yeah, to give you an idea that what we're talking about, 5th through 15th on the driver standings right now, separated by less than 100 points. So there you go. Andrew Kinsella, of course, is in the mix of that, sitting 9th in the standings here so far. He just got done moving up 2 spots just from the last race and trying to get up into the top 5 here on the leaderboard for qualifying, currently sitting 9th.
I'd like to quickly take a look at the man who's qualified right now in 20th position, Chris Stouffer. He's reaching a milestone tonight in the Retro Series. It's his, he gets the silver milestone as he's racing in his 25th Retro Series race. He's about to put in, we'll stay with him here, just give you an idea of how far it is to that finish line down this front straight. It's a long way, even in these very fast cars.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Soup, but that would mean he might be one of the only guys to make every single Retro Series start here so far.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think they've had, he sits well up the list. I think there's been 33. Dustin Wardlow's the top of the list.
Oh, okay. I'm off on that then just a little bit. Well, it would be the first time today.
Yeah, well,
on board to George and Zaldo now. George is one of those guys fighting for that top 16. He's sitting 16th.
Yeah, the first season was only 12 races. I believe they've upped it this season to 18. So that would make a possible, what would that be, 30, 40 races, I guess, is a possibility? Maybe I got that wrong.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah,
but you mentioned 18 races on the calendar. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about this during the broadcast, but next year, going to be 18 races as well. So they do have a little bit of an insight onto the schedule for next season. We'll bring it to you here during the broadcast a little bit later. But just something to look forward to as we look at Dustin Wardlow now, the Candyman out there. Dustin Wardlow, one of the 4 drivers still with a mathematical shot at that championship, but Soup, his last couple of races, particularly you look back at like Iowa, have not been kind to Dustin Wardlow here.
No, not at all. He has seen some bad luck, but he's starting to put it together. Again, another driver doing double duty racing in both events. Racing in the butt kicker onboard camera car. Our season finale is going to be sponsored by Dwarf's Candy. Something very near and dear to Dustin's heart.
Of course, that'll be at Fontana here in just a few weeks. So something to look forward to. Qualifying wrapping up. Seeing if anybody is still out there turning laps, and I do not believe they are. We're safe to go ahead and take a look at that HPP simulation grid. And the pole award here for today, going to Alex Saunders. Alongside him is going to be Adam Blocker. So 1 and 2 of the championship here, Soup. They are starting on the front row.
Justin Weaver and Brian Yasek are going to fill up row 2.
How about Brian Yasek sneaking in there in 4th position? Michael Goodman and Dustin Wardlow, the 2 guys there with a very outside mathematical chance at the championship. They need a lot of help, though, to make it happen. James
Brandt, we talked about him being the big mover. He's going to be starting in 7th position. And then Dan Guerin, coming off that win last night in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, sits in 8th.
All right, now we got Andrew Kinsella out there. He's going to be starting on the inside of row 5. Alongside him, that'll be where you're going to find David Altman in that Mountain Dew machine out there. Of course, David picked up the podium here last.
Chris Sleepy Lanini in 11th, going to be flanked by Paul Jenkins.
And then in row 7, our very own Samuel Ryman. Thank you, Samuel, for some intel on tonight's event, which will be something we'll talk about here in a little bit. Travis Jagerliner out there in 14th position in the outside of row 7.
The Bakerfield boy, Jason Galvin, going to be starting in 15th. All ribbons and curls in the sweet 16th spot is Bart Workman.
Mark Cohn and Ron Hacker are going to make up row 9.
Row 10 is going to be populated by Scott Johnson and Cody Wenson.
Yeah, Cody Wenson, one of the newcomers that came to this series just a few months ago, so he's living it up out there. Chris Stouffer, of course, mentioned this is his 25th start, starting alongside series organizer Georgians.
Then the final 3 drivers did not put in qualifying times. They are Chris Walker, Frank Beezer, and Robert Bluen.
All right, so getting ready to start the pace lap here at Road America, and they do the full pace lap at Road America, so it's going to be just a few minutes here before we get going. But once we do get going, these guys will be screaming around here, running hopefully sub 2-minute laps, so on race trim, and we expect these low 79s to be pretty quick out there. And with the 25 guys that we're going to have starting, well, actually, I believe probably closer to 24 guys that we're going to have starting this race, they're going to be pretty tight going into turn 1, Soup. Are there going to be any other trouble areas you're going to be looking for on the first lap?
Well, I'll tell you this, they're going to need to have some good brakes because there are a lot of passing zones here. And when it is time to brake, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulations. Designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment, HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulations.com. And let me tell you, there are some great passing zones. My favorite spot is corner number 5.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are fans of Canada Corner out there as well. Personally, for me, though, I've always liked the carousel. The carousel has always been my favorite place at this track.
There's one of our onboard cameras there. You saw the butt kicker car. Now we're looking at, hey, the turf monkey here with George Anzaldo behind the wheel of that one. And then finally, one more onboard camera. I guess that's all we got here today. Just those 2. Oh, and then Brian Yasek out there, of course, in the HPP Simulations machine. Let's take a look. We have this opportunity. How about we bring up the race analysis and take a quick peek at that? How far are we going, and how far can they go? 31 laps. Look at this, though. They said they could go 15 or 16. The graphics guys put in 16 laps. We think it's a one-stopper.
We do, but we do have some intel saying that if some guys decide they want to pit early, say about lap 13, 14, well, there could be maybe some games that have to go on too, but I do expect most people are going to be at about 15 or 16 just to try to make it. The big kicker, of course, is the pace lap being a full pace lap. A lot of guys, I think, will be coming down on lap 15, and that's going to make pit road a pretty busy place. And, it can get a little bit interesting here coming down pit road because you got that uphill climb there right going onto the entry. So we've seen some trouble there before. But usually if guys take care of each other, it's not too much of a problem.
And, of course, you don't want to run out of gas here 4 miles around, and it's uphill to the finish line.
That's right. Big uphill going to the finish line. Now, of course, these guys just coming out of Canada will be rounding the last corner here in just a minute before we get the green flag. And get this one actually coming up on Canada now. We just went through the kink. So... Soup, this one's going to be, I really think this one could go either way here between Adam Block or Alex Saunders. Both were strong in practice, but do you think Michael Goodman and Dustin Wardlow are going to leave here today with a shot still at this championship going into California?
Yes, they'll have a shot, and the sun may not rise tomorrow, but I guess they'll have a mathematical shot at it. I really think, though, it's our two guys up in front. Saunders would like to get as many points as he can to make that the smallest gap possible when they head to the finale. Okay, Adam, here they come.
Yeah, we are watching them now coming up the hill. Look at that elevation change. One of those Dougie Beard cameras gives you a great shot at them coming up the hill at you. And the green flag is out. And look at that jump by Alex Saunders. Alex Saunders gets a big jump. Adam Blocker gets not the greatest of starts at all. In fact, Justin Weaver's going to get around him. He's going to be having to fight off Brian Yazik here going into turn one.
Goodman in there so far. Everybody clean through that first corner.
Now diving down into corner number 2. Cannot discount Justin Weaver. He was very strong in practice, very strong in qualifying. Here he is sitting in second right now, but he has got Alex Saunders hot on his tail. Another battle that we'll be needing to keep an eye on. Michael Goodman and Dustin Wardlow back there. Dustin Wardlow taking a peek, though. Michael Goodman's going to take that defensive line, force Dustin Wardlow on the outside.
There's the turn.
Wardlow runs a little bit wide.
One car off, it is James Brandt. Had such a good run last time out. He got clipped on the inside by David Altman. That was corner 5. That's the action corner.
And up on the GSRC replay right now. You can see he's going to go. Yeah, he's going to take that late apex, and then by the time he gets there, David Altman's already there. And, well, spin cycle goes for James Brandt.
Yeah, you would argue maybe that Altman made a late presentation, but it's also the very first lap. You've got to be careful about changing lanes and diving for the apex. Altman looks strong, though. He continues.
Yeah, David Altman, he didn't have the greatest of qualifying or practice speeds compared to everybody else, the real fast guys. He was 10th in both. But overall, though, I mean, we're expecting him to be a very strong contender in this race, given his history here. Oh, Dustin Wardlow is on his lid. He's sitting in the roll bar in the grass.
No one to blame but the Candyman himself on this one. I think he got the car off in the curbing, and these cars are so sensitive to the downforce.
Oh, it just takes a little bit of a hop, and well, there you go. As we look at the world upside down, and not the way that Dustin Wardlow wanted to do it, and that is going to end his championship hopes for 2018. Here, David Altman may be having a problem.
Maybe the racing gods are dispensing a little justice.
Yeah, he was sitting in 10th a minute ago. He's all the way down to 23rd. Let's see what happened to him here. Pulling it up on the GSRC replay. Coming down the front straightaway.
Car just got loose. He's just got away from him. Didn't hit anything. Watch him get on the binders in the sand. Gets it wound up, backs it up. Fortunately, the sand in iRacing lets you drive out of it.
Yeah, and so pretty much just a little bit of hurt pride and hurt ego from David Altman. But we'll see what kind of positions he can make, as he is now going to be on a recovery drive see what he can do with the rest of his afternoon here at Road America. I saw a couple of guys get loose, particularly out of those slow speed corners there, but not a lot out of turn 1. It's the first car today I've seen get loose out of turn 1, but sometimes that does happen. All right, back up front, Alex Saunders. He's continuing to lead, followed by Justin Weaver and Adam Blocker. And here comes Blocker, taking a look on the inside of Justin Weaver going through Canada. It looks like he's going to get him.
Canada corner works for Adam Blocker.
In fact, I would say that that Justin Weaver pretty much just let him have that position with the way he kind of fell off of him there. I think it was kind of like one of those ones, okay, I might have a chance of getting you later, but I'm not going to hold you up. Justin Weaver, I believe, maybe being aware of the championship implications for those two gentlemen in front of him.
Blocker out there in his familiar Beard of Zeus blue car. Now he's back behind 1.6 seconds behind Alexander.
Top 5 pretty evenly spread out now at this point here. Alex Saunders, Adam Blocker, Justin Weaver, Brian Yazik, and Michael Goodman all separated by roughly a second to a second and a half between the 5 of them between each car. Talked about guys that were, looking a little bit different here tonight. I noticed, and it could just be on my end, I kind of want to find out. I don't think Andrew Kinsella is driving my Miss Budweiser machine.
Something that looks like a Canada on it there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So he is running the World Cup scheme. He was representing Canada in the World Cup. I believe last weekend is when Michael Lett and gang were running the World Cup events. So maybe try to do some research, see how he did in the World Cup there last weekend, but still representing the Team Canada colors here today instead of his usual Budweiser paint scheme. So looking pretty good. I always like Team Canada. They always usually come up with these great cars, of course, integrate the maple leaf in them. They usually turn out looking pretty good.
And they're so friendly, too. Hey, let's talk about a guy who's really having a good run. 8th position. Jason Galvin, he's got about 0.8 of a second to get up to Dandy Dan Garrett. Why do we care about Galvin? Well, he started in 15th, so he's up 7 spots.
That's pretty typical of Jason Galvin here this year. I mean, he's had a few times where his qualifying efforts haven't been what he usually would hope for them to be, but he usually makes up for it in the race, and he's trying to do that here again today. Slowly climbing spots. One guy that's starting to chew away, as we mentioned, he was going to be on that recovery drive. David Altman's already up 2 spots. Granted, it's in the back of the pack, but he's getting hungry for a few more out there. So David Altman looks like he is getting ready to take a look at Frank Beezer here in just a moment. Just get an idea of just how long that front straightaway is here at Road America. Many, many passes have been made on that front straightaway with just the draft alone. The question is will they get back to you by the time they get to turn 1?
Love this roadkill cam here as you see the road go by underneath and that beautiful Wisconsin sky pushing down on the racetrack. Running up behind Frank Beezer. Up a little bit of an off. Oh, we talked about Gavin. He just had an off through 5. We don't need to go there, but he lost a lot of ground.
Another guy that's moved up a few spots since the beginning of this thing, Mark Cohn, sitting in 11th position right now. He started the race in 17th, and already here after 4 laps, he's gained about 6 spots here, and he's looking at Samuel Raymond and Chris Lanini in front of him, thinking he's going to take a few more.
It's one of the best battles on the track. It's a 5-car train. Lanini up in 9th. Ryman in real close to being passed there by Cohn, but right behind him, Paul Jenkins and Travis Jägerleiner. So a nice battle, really from 10th to, that'd be 13th.
Looking around for some other battles out there, and we can just stick on this one here for a while, I believe here, as you mentioned, Soup, best one on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, really nothing. You're not missing anything up front as they are all separated by a good distance. We'll tune in on that if anybody comes back in. Give us a little time to watch a little racing mid-pack here. All these guys are up from where they qualified, most of them due to attrition.
Yeah, looking at it, Chris Stouffer also up 6 spots from where he started here. He is right at the tail end of that pack there, I believe.
Pitting is going to be an issue here today. Can they get to lap 16? And Adam, you mentioned something that I've really forgot to think about, and that is 4 miles around this course before we go green.
Right. Hearing something about Cody Wenson.
Wenson got loose, and my goodness, right in front of Bart Workman. Luckily, cleared out of the way for Bart. This was a battle for position. There goes Wenson, and ouch!
That's going to be a tough one to recover from. That was pretty significant contact into that concrete barrier.
Here's the guy who had the best view of it as we look on board with Workman. Whoa! And the fine camera work of our director, Amjad Yaman.
It looked almost a lot like how David Altman's was, as he got loose on him and ended up overcorrecting it, except David Altman had the benefit of the gravel trap there to slow him down, where Cody just ended up finding the concrete to slow him down. But now looking at Bart Workman, who he's going to gain another position here just based off the attrition.
Maybe check in on 4th position. Oh, we'll stay on this battle. Hang on, we'll stay on this for a minute. We'll see if this pass can be made. I'll just tell you, they're beginning to tighten up a little bit up in 4th, and maybe even for 5th as Andrew Kinsella starting to run down Michael Goodman.
Yeah, we got a 3-car battle here shaping up for 4th position now. And, of course, that is Yazek, Goodman, and Kinsella. Goodman needing all the positions he could possibly get, but he's going to have to try to stop Kinsella from gaining one on him by keeping him behind him. He's looking at that rear view over the rear wing of the HPP simulation machine by Brian Yazek. Yazek, of course, carrying the HPP simulation onboard camera here for today.
Speaking of lap traffic, about a 4-second difference between our fastest qualifier and our slowest qualifier. And with lap times of just under 2 minutes, it's going to take a while before we get to lap traffic, if at all.
See the looks like the gap there between Yazek and Goodman is starting to diminish a little bit, and the gap between Goodman and Kinsella is maintaining. Either way, though, all it's going to take is just one slip up from Yazek and Goodman, and Kinsella is going to be right there on both of them.
Kinsella looking strong. Go ahead.
I was going to say, don't forget, too, of course, all these guys in the tight points battle. I mean, Kinsella very well could leave out of here jumping another 3 or 4 spots if, things continue to go his way a little bit in the point standings. Yazek could lose that many. And Goodman, of course, well, we all know that Goodman's doing his best to try to maintain a mathematical chance of staying in the championship when we go to California. But as we've been talking about, he needs a lot of help for that to happen. We can say that both Dustin Wardlow and Cody Wenson have both decided to call it a day after their accident. So those are your first 2 full retirees of the day.
Let's go to James Brandt real quick. This is in 20th position as he just got around Ron Hacker. Remember, Brandt had that first lap incident. He's a-coming. So he gets Ron Hacker out of the final corner. Hacker should be able to surrender this one if Brandt's going to pull over. Look at Hacker fight back. Oh, my goodness, they almost touched. Hacker backs out. Woo. Brandt in 20th now. He's got about a second to get up to George Anzaldo. Remember, Brandt qualified in 7th, so the car is fast.
This is, of course, Ron Hacker's first race back in a few races. Last time we saw Ron was at Iowa.
Oh, let's go to 17th. Oh, they touch getting bumped off. That was Chris Walker with David Altman making the pass in 5. Here comes Walker fighting back. And this time he's going to return the favor and try to push Altman off. And now the spot goes back to Walker. Altman is loose. He saves it. Here comes Ansaldo and Brandt.
I think David Altman's seeing red right now. That's George Zaldo backs off of him, gives him some room, but we've known David Altman can be fast here, and a little bit of gamesmanship between him and Chris Walker. He's riding on board that Turf Monkey onboard camera with George and Zaldo there. Speaking of George and Zaldo, man, going through the kink there got a little interesting for him.
This is where the action is right now. The car on the move is the number 15, the dark car of James Brandt. Remember, we saw him get around Ron Hacker. Hacker now, Frank Beezer running up on the back behind these guys. A nice little battle going on. The end of your top 20.
Battle on the racetrack, as Soup mentioned, is this kind of breaking up just a touch as David Altman trying to get back over to Chris Walker. But here comes James Brandt now on George and Zaldo. James Brandt will have the preferred inside line here going into turn 1. George Zaldo going to have to take the wide line around. Be careful not to put the wheels off in the grass or too far over the curb. And they're still side by side going into 2. Here comes Ron Hacker. He's going to try to decide he wants to do anything with it. He's going to back out. George and Zaldo backs out. James Brandt him up into 19th position.
David Altman 2 seconds back is James Brandt, and he's a-coming.
That Turf Monkey onboard camera getting all sorts of work out, going forward, looking back, looking all the way around. George and Zaldo's machine here today as he's fighting now with James Brandt, as we talked about. Now he's going to try to hold off Ron Hacker as well.
Remember, Turf Monkey is one of our sponsors today. Go ahead, maybe talk about Turf Monkey real quick.
Yeah, Turf Monkey. Of course, Turf Monkey Lawn Care, veteran owned and operated by Marty Davis out of Racine, Wisconsin. Just an hour or 2 up the road from Elkhart Lake there. Turf Monkey has a barrel full of specializes, including fertilization, weed control, aeration, the thatching, overseeding, snow removal, and mowing. Don't monkey around your yard this season. Make it look bananas. Turf Monkey Lawn Care. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/turfmonkey.
Boy, if they could get the Road America gig, that'd be good money.
I think so, and it's not too bad of a drive from Racine all the way down there. Yeah. So, I think it'd be all right. Looking at David Altman. David Altman is almost back to Chris Walker, and in turn, they have both almost caught Bart Workman as the gap between those three is starting to shrink. Let's go ahead, Sue.
This is a good battle. The only other battle that might be of interest is up in 4th position, Yazzie, Goodman, and Kinsella, but really, that's just nothing happening there. I like what's happening. This is where the excitement is. David Altman certainly had his share of excitement today. We ride on board with Dave.
These guys just got done not too long ago taking turns muscling each other around just a touch. We're going to see a repeat of it here. David Altman thinks about taking a look to the inside, thinks better of it. Oh, but Bart Workman, I think, took an off entry, and that's going to mess up Chris Walker's entry. Chris Walker is wide. He's off track. Gets it back going okay, I believe, but he lost numerous spots. Oh, it took a wheel hop coming out of the gravel pit. We're going to look here on the GSRC's camera. He ends up running way wide, tries to get back on track. The back end hops, and he about loses it going into the grass, and he's going to cost him a number of spots as Beezer, Ron Hacker, and Zaldo, and James Brandt all get around him. And now going back up, though, that battle between Bart Workman and David Altman is now on. As they run through the carousel, David Altman was looking to the outside, but he's going to go ahead and cut down to the inside now as they try to get ready to go through the kink. Realizes going too wide isn't the best through there, and now going down to Canada, isn't going to have anything with him just yet, but on the exit of Canada, Bart Workman runs a little bit wide. Here comes David Altman. David Altman through Thunder Valley, going to be able to take that position fairly easily. Bart Workman gives up the fight, move David Altman up another spot.
With that done, let's check in on a couple of battles we've really been talking about. And that's 12th position here, a nice little battle with Cone and Jenkins and Jaegerliner. Really the battle for 12th here between Jaegerliner and Jenkins. That's Jaegerliner chasing. out there in the Gillette Contour machine, trying to run down Jenkins. Jenkins started in 12th, racing in exactly that position right now. Jägerlander up 1 spot to be in 13th. That blue car you see there, that's Cone, and it's not that far up to Samuel Ryman and Chris Lanini. And I'm being told that it is pink.
So Mark Cohn, of course, one of the biggest movers here today, so far today. It's 6 spots. The biggest mover, I believe, is still Jason Galvin, who's moved up 7 spots from the start of this race. But, you know, not these guys. I mean, he's only 30 seconds off the lead. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot. Look at Jason Galvin now, 21 seconds off the lead. But considering how long of a distance it is around Road America, they might still be pretty safe as far as not being lapped here today. So for these guys still be putting down lap times. These guys are all still running 157 lap times, while your leaders are running in 156s and 155s. In fact, Alex Saunders, look at his.
I remember him.
Yeah, we got to check in on our leader here real quick. 155, 196, even still going 11 laps into this race. So tires not falling off here. Don't expect these guys to take tires here for today, and doing the usual thing with sometimes the 2 open wheelers, that the fuel runs down, the speeds get faster. And here's something with Chris Stouffer, and
Ouch.
Took a toe.
He put it right on the curbing. Got the car centered on the curbing and then lost it to the inside. Ouch. Oh. Boom.
Man, these Lotus 79s are not liking those transitions. You're going to have to be careful about the runoffs. Just watch the hop.
It's not the 3rd time we've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be car meets concrete. And those walls here, I mean, Soupy mentioned it, that, you know, of course, with Road America being upgraded to modern safety standards and whatnot, but still, those concrete barriers, they're still there, and they're still present. They will reach out and grab you if you're not careful.
Hey, let's go to 5th. Have a catch. Has caught Michael Goodman. Andrew Kinsella back there working on him. Being very, very patient. He's just been testing it, poking and prodding. The car is clearly faster than Goodman. Goodman has lost touch with Yazik. These cars were nose to tail racing information. Whoa, boy, through the cake. Kinsella tested the envelope of this track. Gets a good run down into Canada. But Adam, I've seen this over the last 4 or 5 laps. Kinsella just not in the mood to force the issue.
Yeah, I think he's just happy just being present and accounted for at this point. So playing it very smart and realizing still a lot of race left. I mean, we're not even quite to halfway yet, so why force the issue? Now, of course, here on the front straightaway might be a little bit of a different story as you're looking at Michael Goodman maybe trying to take a little bit of an inside line. Will he pull out here in the draft coming across the start-finish line? Yeah, okay, so he's going to go ahead and take a look here going down to turn 1. Will he be able to get him? Looks like Michael Goodman's going to give up the position to him, not fight him too much as they go off into 1. And they're going to try to set their eyes maybe on Brian Yazik, but no, Goodman sneaking his nose and not going to do anything here going through 2. So we'll see if they can do it. All right, Chris Lanini, and now Soup, some of the intel that we were getting is that the guys that come in really early, like around the 12 to 13 lap range, they may not be able to make it the entire rest of the way. They may have to take a short stop later. So look, Chris Lanini, his tires go up. He could be one of the ones that takes tires out there, as he is going to go ahead and pull away. Chris Walker, we followed him onto pit road a little while ago. You saw it here on GSRC that he has not moved since. So not sure if he's going to be at retirement or if he's going to be getting damage repair, but he is not in the car at the moment. He could be calling it a day after after that off a little while ago. Oh, Ron Hacker having a little bit of an off, but he's able to get it back on track. So no harm, no foul there. A lot of these guys, Soup, they've just they've put wheels off, they've done this or they've done that, and most of them are getting away scot-free. It's just this handful of guys that find that transition and they get that rear end hopping up in the air, and that usually spelling disaster here today.
Well, we saw Kinsella make the pass. We have seen passes done, but there are a lot of close battles that just continue to race in a parade. So we look at this one. There's another one back. Maybe check in on 9th position. We touched on these guys before. This is Ryman. About 7/10 of a second back to Cohn. About 7/10 of a second back to Jenkins. And there's Jägerliner. Now, Jägerliner may have a chance to get the pass. He's last in line, but there's nothing happening. I'll tell you one thing. Ryman's car, really good straight line speed as he pulls away. Go ahead, Adam.
We seem to spend a lot of time with David Altman in the back, but here he comes on the recovery drive. He's going to go try to take another position. He's already caught Scott Johnson. He's going to get him here going into turn 1. They get it woed down with just enough time. David Altman starts to pull away in that Mountain Dew machine. So David Altman, nice little recovery drive that he has here after his early problem.
Absolutely.
Looking now, Paul Jenkins looked like he was going to go ahead and maybe try to sneak a peek at the inside of Mark Cohn, thinks better of it, and actually loses just maybe a 10th or so off of him from where he was as they come up underneath the bridge. And, you know, they still maintain that gap like you were talking about there a minute ago, Soup, about 7/10 between them all, except between Paul Jenkins and Travis Jägerliner. Jägerliner trying to inch a little bit closer, but not close enough yet to do anything as they head to the carousel.
I'd like to go to 8th position. Oh, we're riding on board there with Travis Jägerliner. Let's enjoy this for a minute before we cut away. I love these shots. When we cut away, though, we are going to look up at a man that doesn't know the words maintaining the gap has no meaning in the dictionary for Jason Galvin. He's in 8th right now. He's beginning to close in on the back of Dan Guerin. Now, remember, Galvin was really hot early on. He'd made up all those positions. I said, look how far he's come. Then he had an off, and I think he's going to get this right here. Galvin is really slow out of the final corner, and thank you very much. Move the Bakersfield boy up into 7th position. Dandy Dan relegated back to 8th. I don't know if that was as much as Galvin making that pass or as Guerin making a mistake out of that final corner. You do not want to make a mistake out of that last corner. You pay for it for a long time.
Yeah, you do. I mean, because you got that entire uphill section and the entire length of the front straightaway here at Road America. And, of course, one of the sponsors of today's race, HPP Simulations. We brought it up before. Well, HPP is awarding a set of pedals valued at $1,395 here to the season champion. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. Visit hppsimulation.com to check them out.
Give you a little up in the middle of your read there. That was because Dan Guerin had a little bit of a spin, but he's okay. Just got the car a little bit loose. He loses a lot of momentum. He's fallen now way behind Galvin. You know, you talked about paying the price out of that final corner. It reminds me like when you take a bad date on a weekend to like a bed and breakfast and you're stuck with her forever. It's a price you have to pay for a long time. It's kind of what happened to Guerin there when he blew that exit out of the final corner. Had to think about it the entire front straight.
Yeah, and that is, as we mentioned already, a long time to think. Now, Frank Beazer has retired from this race, and looking at it, oh, he caught the hop. It was on lap 12, going up through, I believe, turn 13, 12 and 13, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get it on the GSRC replay, but he caught the hop and met the concrete just like several guys have today. So Frank Beazer's day is done.
That's what we're working at here. This is what we've been following. This is Jenkins and Jägerliner. Travis doing some annoying commentating racing right now, just continually on the back of Jenkins, making me check in on him, but never pulling the trigger. And David Altman comes in on lap number 14. Still too early, I think, to one-stop this.
Yeah, but of course, David Altman, though, is our profile driver of the day. Hey, this is his 25th start also here in the Lionheart Retro Series. He doesn't have any poles, doesn't have any career wins, but he's been consistent, being able to be up in the top 5 4 times and in the top 10 11 times. He was one of the inaugural drivers of this series, too, starting out in Homestead there in Season 1. So David Altman, coming off pit road, is our profile driver of the day, brought to you by the Sim Pit.
Got a good battle for you back in 14th position. It's a driver we've been watching, and it's James Brandt. Remember, we saw Brandt get around in Zaldo and Hacker and those guys. And I said it's about 2 seconds to get up to Bart Berkman. Well, he's there now. Altman, of course, took his pit stop. Altman was one of the cars Brandt was involved in that caused him to fall those spots.
Alex Saunders and Adam Blocker both coming in here on lap 15. This is when we were told pit road might become a little bit on the busy side. And indeed, our 2 leaders and our 2 main championship contenders coming down pit road.
Weaver in from 3rd. This is too early, but they did do 4 miles of a pace lap. Can they one-stop it from here? Here comes Yazik. Kinsella, who is notorious for being able to light-foot it, he's going around one more time. Guy, you get a reputation, and you just almost have to keep doing it just to please the commentators. Andrew Kinsella, once again, running it along.
We'll have to see how that works out for him, but he is taking over at least the lead of the race here for at least a short while. We'll see if he still maintains it when he comes across the line here. Of course, the line does come across pit road, just kind of depends on where his pit box is. Now, but Andrew Kinsella, as you mentioned, Sue, he does have that reputation of being able to just seem like to get that little bit of every gas tank. Now, some of our intel was indicating, Soup, that they might be able to make it from here, but it's going to be a stretch for some of them. So do not be surprised if maybe you see some of these guys trying to conserve what fuel they can just to give themselves a little bit of insurance, particularly your leaders, Alex Saunders and Adam Blocker, because they had such a big lead. But overall, as somebody is off out there next to Andrew Kinsella, that was Robert Bluen. Robert Bluen was the black car that was off there. You saw there on the screen.
Well, just thinking this through as our leader goes around Bluen, now who finds his way back onto the pavement. If Kinsella can do a 4-mile pace lap, and then do 16 laps, you got to figure the other guys might be able to do the same. He certainly can go the distance. Maybe it might be a case of save the first stint or save the second stint.
Yeah, it could be. And of course, keep in mind, though, too, that on this second stint here, you don't have a slow pace lap. Now, granted, you know, the pace lap you use fuel on, but you're not using it like you were running at speed. And of course, but it also doesn't count on the board. So, yeah. But here comes Andrew Kinsella now. He is not going to try to push it another lap. He's coming down pit road. Robert Bluen's the car behind him. Robert Bluen was already on pit road just a moment ago. He is now a solid lap down. Will he maintain the lead? Will he get credit for leading a lap? No. Alex Saunders gets there before he does. So, Andrew Kinsella does not get credit for leading that lap as he's dropping down the leaderboard, trying to find his pit stall.
The good news for Saunders and Blocker and Weaver, the guys who are trying to stretch it, at least they don't have to race anybody because the intervals are so large. Saunders with a almost a 5-second gap over Blocker. Blocker's got 12 seconds on Justin Weaver, who we really haven't mentioned very much today, in that shortest podium position.
Oh, he comes out. Andrew Kinsella comes right out with Brian Yazik. Brian Yazik getting loose going through turn 1. Almost kind of evasive there. So Kinsella being 4th, Yazik in 5th, and that got a little hairy there for just a moment. All right, well, pit stops are complete now. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break here on GSRC and the iRacing Esports Network, and we'll be back in just a minute.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
And welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and GSRC, coming to you live for the Loud Pedal Motorsports Grand Prix of Road America. Hey, if you're a sim racer looking to add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism to your sessions, butt kicker products are the way to go. A butt kicker moves actual mass-producing a haptic immersion. It's powerful and accurate. See all the family products at thebuttkicker.com and use the promo code LION20 to get 20% off your order. All right, well, hey, things up front are right now the reverse of what your championship standings are, with Alex Saunders and Adam Blocker running 1 and 2. Of course, going into today's race, there was only an 18-point difference between Adam Blocker and Alex Saunders running 1-2 in the championship. So if things stay the way they are right now, Alex Saunders will trim just a touch out of that lead, out of Adam Blocker's lead, pretty much with the double points event in California leading to a dead heat. So, I mean, well, at least going into the race. But now, well, we still got some positions aside on the racetrack here at Road America. As you're looking at Yazik and Galvin going at it, tooth and nail here. They're through turn number 5, underneath the Corvette Ridge, and heading up to turn 6. So now that is, of course, the battle on the racetrack right now with those three. And it's actually, you know, of course, you got Galvin there. You also have Michael Goodman there as well as they run through the carousel. So 3-car battle right now, although Michael Goodman falling off of that just a touch off of the rear wing of Brian Yazik. Andrew Kinsella, we saw Andrew Kinsella and Brian Yazik come out together on pit road, off pit road. Well, excuse me, with Kinsella almost in alongside Yazik. Kinsella came off pit road, and that, of course, got interesting there for a minute. So now we're looking at P11 here. Excuse me, P12. Paul Jenkins and David Altman. David Altman looking to get another pit. Andrew Kinsella is in the wall. Andrew Kinsella got high centered on tried to save it on the grass. Going to pull up the GSRC replay here. Andrew Kinsella having himself a great day, and it just went sour very quickly. Could not save it, and the concrete is going to tear that Lotus 79 up. He is coming down pit road, and he is not driving straight. I think that's going to be the end of Andrew Kinsella's day, unfortunately, with those Team Canada colors from the World Cup last weekend. So not looking good for him, as he is losing spot after spot on pit road. And that is going to move those rest of those guys up now, as Jason Galvin now is fighting for 4th position. Jason, of course, the big mover of the day, up 11 spots. Another big mover is David Altman. David Altman had some problems earlier on. Well, he's going to go ahead and try to go after 11th position here. He's going to be taking it away from Paul Jenkins. David Altman, the profile driver of the day. And now his next target is going to be Mark Cohn. Not too far off of that. So looking now, of course, going back up to 4th position here real quick, though. Brian Yazik is now caught back up underneath the rear wing of Jason Galvin. Lose a little bit of a gap develops between them as they go through the carousel here, but going through the kink, starts to shrink it up just again. Yazik trying to use that draft, going down the back straightaway. Galvin tries to defend just a little bit, tries to weave and break that draft. Yazik's going to take a look at the outside here through Canada. Can't get anything going on that, but he's going to cut down to the inside, cannot do the over-under. Through Thunder Valley, they're going to be nose to tail. Big passing opportunity coming up for Brian Yazik, possibly. If he can get close enough coming up this long front straightaway here at Road America. They're going to go up the hill. Big gap now develops up between those two as he did not have a good exit to that corner. And of course here, if you do not have a good exit to that last corner, you pay for it for a long time. And that's exactly what just happened to Brian Yazik as that gap widens between him and Jason Galvin. Looking at the rear view there of Jason Galvin off the rear gearbox. All right, so David Altman now. We're going to go ahead and go back to David Altman here in 11th position, and he is getting caught Mark Cohn very easily, and he makes that pass going down the front straightaway pretty much uncontested. Now his eyes are set on Travis Jagerliner. David Altman, welcome back to the top 10. His recovery drive complete. He is now caught back up to where he started this race. Started in 10th. Well, he's back in 10th, but he wants more than that. He'll be chasing down Travis Jagerliner here over the next few laps. Looking around for battles on the racetrack right now as we're looking at Travis Jagerliner. He's got about a second going back to David Altman, but he's got another 2 seconds before he was able to catch Samuel Ryman. Looks like Scott Johnson and James Brandt here are starting to go at it with James Brandt, another guy that was trying to recover after an early problem. He's not been able to make up quite the positions that David Altman has, but he's been able to make up a few. Is James Brandt. Now he's going to be looking to maybe try to get 14th position away from here from Scott Johnson over the next few minutes.
And a mistake there from Johnson. I think Brandt's right on him now. Remember, Brandt qualified in 7th, has really worked his way up through the field after getting pushed off into the grass. Johnson is up 5 spots to be racing in 14th, but Brandt's coming. See what he has down into Canada. Is he going to force the issue here? Is he going to wait? Might as well just wait till that final corner. Get it done up the front straight.
Yeah, I think that's going to be his best passing opportunity right now. We've seen a lot of guys be able to make that clean. It really seems like here going through Thunder Valley that I'm starting to see guys, word must be getting around about some of the troubles that guys have had through there with jumping the curb and everything. I'm starting to see a lot of guys start to take it easier through there, Sue.
Yeah, it has been. It has claimed several victims today. Love this camera shot. All right, let's see if he's going to make the pass here. He's got it. Going to look. Nope, going to have to wait. Corner 5 is the next spot that he can do it.
Well, there's no point in leaving this battle, but I will tell you that David Altman has been able to catch and pass Travis Jagerliner. So that was no problem. Now he's got to have his sights set on Samuel Ryman. This is still the battle on the racetrack right here.
Brandt closing, but he's going to be too far back. No real place to make it now until you got to go all the way around the carousel, through the kink, maybe take a shot down into Canada. Riding off the back of Scott Johnson. Still one of the best battles on the track.
Oh, is James Brandt what's wide? Is he going to be able to save it? Gets it back on the concrete. Fantastic piece of driving by James Brandt to keep that thing from going into the wall. So he'll leave to fight another day, but that was very close there, Sue.
I think that first camera that we saw, the turf monkeys need to get out there and do a little lawn repair on that one, as he was really bringing up the turf.
I think they made some attachments or something to the bottom of James Brandt's car and maybe sent him out there. Oh, James Brandt, now this time he can't save it. He's in the wall. He's in the tire barrier, and he is upside down. That's going to be James Brandt's day. Lady Luck did not strike 3 times there for James Brandt. That car is going to be done.
So with Brandt gone, we do have another battle for you. This is Jason Galvin in 4th. All right, Galvin's road to 4th has been impressive. He started in 15th. He picked up 5 or 6 positions right away. Then he worked his way around on track around Garrett. Then he was able to jump Michael Goodman in pits. Then he came up behind Yazik, ran him down and passed him too to get up to 4th. He's got 16 seconds to get to Justin Weaver. Don't think that's going to happen. Unless that Moby Dick car gets beached, but there is that fluorescent green and yellow car of Galvin doing well.
Oh, this guy's getting a lot of airtime tonight for being technically in the middle of the pack, but he's been making some impressive moves. David Altman is now right back behind Samuel Ryman. He's already ran Samuel Ryman down to 2 seconds of the gap that it was just a few flaps ago. And he's going to be trying to get even deeper into the top 10. Samuel Ryman sits in 8th. David Altman in 9th. David Altman runs a little bit wide. Is he able to get back on track? He does. He will lose a spot to Travis Jaegerleiner, though.
That's okay. Altman likes to pass cars, and so just said later on, getting around, he's passed Jaegerleiner 2 or 3 times this race. Try one more time.
Yeah, he's certainly been doing enough passing today, I think, to satisfy the entire field.
We mentioned Samuel Ryman in 8th. He's up 5 spots, having a good, quiet Samuel Ryman run. Now, keep in mind, this is all settling down. We're all just having fun like this is settled, but we're not sure that these guys up front, Saunders, Blocker, Weaver, can go without a splash and go at the end. This would be way more exciting if Andrew Kinsella was still racing, because I think he could have.
And for what it's worth, Alex Saunders is lost a little ground to Adam Blocker. So maybe some fuel saving going on. There's Travis Jaegerleiner's going to get around. David Altman's getting around Travis Jaegerleiner. And speaking of Andrew Kinsella, there, Soup, we brought him into the booth. Why don't you go and have a little chat with him?
Andrew, I like the plan. You went 1 lap longer than everybody else. The only problem is you put it in the wall.
Yeah, there's a little bump off that corner there, and as soon as you hit it wrong, the car just bottoms out several times, and before I could catch it, I was in the wall. Almost got it. Had optional repairs, but when I went down pit lane, car was no good, wasn't driving straight, so just parked it.
Okay, so what's the deal? Can these guys go to the end if they pit on 15, or do they have to come in for a splash and go?
It depends on whether they're going all out or whether they're lifting and coasting a little bit. Obviously, you can make it 16, but I was behind Brian and Goodman for most of the first stint, and I was able to just sort of lift and coast and sort of pick my battles. I was able to get around Goodman there. But yeah, you're looking at, you basically have to save a half a lap of fuel, which sounds really easy, except for Road America laps are, what, four and some odd miles long, so it's actually about 2 miles worth of fuel that you have to save over the course of the run. So it's doable, but you have to be doing it basically from the beginning of the run and running with that in mind the whole time.
So these big intervals, as Saunders has 4 seconds on Blocker, and Blocker has about several calendar pages on Justin Weaver. Since they're really not in a battle, it's got to be a little easier for these guys, even though they don't have anybody to draft with, right? They can set their own pace.
I mean, to a certain extent, but I mean, if you're Blocker, you got to stay as close to Alex as you possibly can in case he makes a mistake, because one mistake, it might not necessarily put Saunders out of the race, but we've seen a couple of times this year already where he's been in the lead, he's made a small mistake, and Adam's been able to capitalize. So if I'm Adam, I'm going as fast as slowly as I possibly can, or as slowly as fast as I possibly can.
Going as slowly as fast as I possibly can. I'm going to get you out of here on this question. We've seen several drivers get the car up on the curb and lose it. Are the curbs really that tough here on these Lotus 79s?
Some of the curbs, yeah. There's just there's basically, when you hit the curb in certain areas and in certain places, it drops off really quickly. So what'll happen is, just like with my incident, the car basically bottoms out, and you lose all your suspension, and then so suddenly you basically have no suspension, no grip, and then it springs back up again. You have grip again, but if you've already corrected a little bit, you're going in the wrong direction, and then suddenly you're in the wall. That's exactly what we've seen. Not so much the tires being on the curb, but the actual center of the car being on the curb, and I think that's what happened. Hey, Andrew, thanks for coming in. You told us a lot. Go ahead.
I was going to say, real quick, Andrew, hey, I know that you're running the Team Canada scheme here today. I want to know how you did at the World Cup last weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are in the final round. The final round is this Saturday. I believe the oval is at 11:30 Eastern, and the road is at 2. So these are the semifinals, and then there'll be a consolation final and a final as well this weekend. So Team Canada, we in the qualifying round we seeded 4th. We knocked off Northwest last weekend, so we're up against Finland on Saturday at 2:30 on the road. 11:30 a.m. on the oval.
All right. Well, hey, keep representing North America well, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right. So that was Andrew Kinsella there. Sorry, Soup. I had to ask that.
That's okay. Go get those fins. That's what I said. Get the fins.
Yeah. Right. Somebody's got to unseat them in the World Cup.
God.
All right. So hey, David Altman, while we were away, he did make another pit stop there. I think for fuel only, as you kind of got a little bit more insight there on that situation from Andrew Kinsella. Still seeing a tight battle. Watching Altman now, just talking about him, and he is slow. He is stopped on track. Looks like Mark Cohn just took a tow. Oh, and I don't know, but Brian Yazik just had a problem too.
We're gonna look for Altman. He just parks it. Maybe the car didn't get gas. Or now, here's what's up with the Yazik. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, coming out of Canada, he just lost the back end just a little bit, but it was enough that he's going to lose a spot there to Michael Goodman. So watch that back end step out, but he was able to recover it. Now, David Altman did come on the radio and say something, but I couldn't quite make it out what happened there, but the reason has been given. Looking at Michael Goodman now, and we go live, and Michael Goodman gives back the position there to Brian Yazik. Got a little tight there on the front straightaway, but at the end of going into turn 1, they end up getting away okay. So now Brian Yazik's going to try to recover and maybe get back to Jason Galvin.
While we were talking to Kinsella, we were watching the battle between Galvin and Yazik was all over the gearbox, working him really hard. Finally, he lost it. He lost that position to Goodman, but he gets it back. That's a battle for 4th. These guys are working awfully hard. If listen to Kinsella, I don't see Yazik doing a lot of saving there. So he was really pestering Galvin. Can we put the camera on Justin Weaver for at least, I don't know, 4 or 5 seconds? The Moby Dicky machine. They're out there racing in 3rd. We love you, Justin.
This is just a typical Justin Weaver kind of day. I mean, I know they sometimes put our bros. Every time I see them try to hit that curve there, that little bump, it makes me nervous. But yeah, I think they put us sometimes up on the screen there at Moby Dicky. So if you guys are watching us, hey, hi. But this typical Justin Weaver kind of day where he's been so quiet. He just doesn't get a lot of airtime, even though he's running in 3rd. Another fantastic drive out of him. It was the same way at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve last week.
25 seconds behind Blocker, 17 seconds ahead of Galvin. That's pretty much being on I guess Moby Dicky. I was going to say on an island, but I guess for him, maybe in an ocean. Hey. All right, here comes some traffic. Finally, Alex Sanders has something to do. Lewin and Lanini. With that said, let's go back to Lanini. Is this a pass for position? I believe it is, as Lanini just gets around blue one.
It is. I want to say Lanini came in for a second stop, and that's why it's back.
Yeah, I think they're separated by a lap, I think. All right, we're going to look at Yazik. Brian. Oh,
yeah, Brian's in the pit. Oh,
Brian.
back in comes around. Oh, and the engine blew. A telltale white puff of smoke. This will be on the exit of 1 here. Lots of attrition here today. He just hits that grass just a little bit and guns it trying to save it, and just can't pull it back around, and then the engine blows.
So
that's some of that stock car experience there coming out with Brian Yazik. He tried to gun it, tried to save it and get it back to going straight, but here today though, it ended up costing him that Lotus 79 engine.
Michael Goodman gave the spot back, but now he vultures it, so Goodman up to 5th. That's another position for Samuel Ryman, who's now sitting in 7th. Another guy having just a quiet run.
Now, we can't forget that, of course, Samuel Ryman is in the running, of course, for the Cleanest Driver Award here this season. And I want to say it is Chris Lanini, actually, who we were just talking about a minute ago, that he's actually Chris Lanini leading the standings right now with 17 incidents. Sam has 21, but you know, that's still anybody's race as we go into a place like California as well, as both have had very clean seasons out there. Samuel actually led it for most of the season, just kind of had bad luck a few races and, well, got caught up in some other people's problems and, well, dropped a little bit on the standings. But and Samuel Ryman is one of the cleanest guys out there along with Chris Lanini. So Cleanest Driver Award, definitely a lot of bragging rights associated with that.
I'm glad you mentioned the incident because I didn't want new viewers to get confused that it had something to do with hygiene. It is actually about keeping the car on the track. I know that's obvious, but you get the new viewers that may be confused. Saunders works his way around Mark Cohn. Adam Blocker works his way around Mark Cohn. They don't get the white flag, but they get to see the flagman start to get the white flag out.
Now, there's only 2 laps to go, and it ain't going to matter. But I will say Adam Blocker has shaved over 1.5 seconds off Alex Saunders' lead in about the last 7 or 8 laps. So I think at this point, Alex Saunders maybe just taking a little bit easy, knowing that he doesn't really have to force the issue. But we are definitely going to be taking this championship battle going into California here in just a few weeks' time, Soup. That is going to be an amazing race to watch. And, of course, you'll see it here on iRacing Esports Network and GSRC. A double points event. So between that top 2, anything can still happen.
Blocker can now see Saunders. And I'll just follow page 17 of the GSRC Commentator's Handbook. Install drama whenever possible. Fuel. Don't forget about fuel, folks. They pitted at the end of lap 15. This is a 31-lap race. You heard Andrew Havakech Kinsella talk about how you got to save fuel. Saunders has had no drafting partner.
And, of course, now they're out of lap traffic. That gap does widen just a little bit. I mean, it's still, though, out of Alex Saunders is going to be coming to the white flag here in just a moment. They're going to be doing it largely uncontested as long as that contestant is going to be coming from his very own fuel cell.
Yep.
So
we'll know right now.
Let's see.
And Soup, I'm staying out. Just because he stays out doesn't mean he can go 4 miles.
As long as everybody stays clean and has enough fuel here for this last lap, everybody should finish where they are at this moment. The only two guys that are even close to each other are Bart Workman, George Anzaldo back there in 11th and 12th, separated by about 9/10 of a second. So, 7/10 of a second now. But that is the only close battle on the racetrack. As Alex Saunders continues to go away, he's going to be coming down through turn 5.
That battle you just mentioned is ahead of Saunders. Not sure if Alex is going to get to him before the race ends. 3.2 seconds now, Saunders to Blocker.
Yeah, I think Blocker's given up the ghost here. He's just going to make sure he's going to be able to come across the line.
So what this means is,
Carousel
at Fontana, that it's just a few less positions that Saunders is going to have to better Blocker at. It's going to close the interval a little bit more.
And we all know at a track like California, anything can happen. It is liable to be an insane race here in 2 weeks. But when we go into California, one thing we know for sure, Alex Saunders, he's going to be going in with just only a few points behind Adam Blocker, but he is going to be coming into the race with the momentum and the race win. He's coming around turn 16. He's going to begin that long climb up the hill. The Loud Pedal Motorsports Grand Prix of Road America goes to Alex Saunders, as he's going to bring home the checker flag. Adam Blocker in second. And as long as nothing happens, we're waiting for Justin Weaver to come around. Justin Weaver have to go all the way back to Canada Corner. That's where he's at. Making the turn up into Thunder Valley here. Justin Weaver, that Moby Dick's machine, very, very quiet day. Typical Justin Weaver style. He'll be making that long climb. He will round out your podium here at Road America today. Going back to P10 now, position 10.
Yeah, I believe this is actually going to be 11th and 12th when it all settles down. Our timing and scoring might be a little bit off. I think Workman's going to get 11th. This is Anzaldo. We really haven't given these guys much attention. I don't think George has much to get him here, as these are the last two cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, I think that gap's just going to be a little bit too much for George Anzaldo to overcome. So we will what is the term that they use on election night? We will it's not declare the winner. Project. We're going to project. We are going to project that Bart Workman is going to win the race. Again, we believe this is for 11th here, just with the timing and scoring being the way it is.
If we were racing in Florida, if we were at Sebring, we couldn't do that. But here in Wisconsin, they know how to do those things. Okay, final quarter.
Look at Bart Workman coming around 16. Here comes George Anzaldo. That one's pretty well settled there, but those are the last two cars on the lead lap. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a break here on GSRC. When we come back, we'll run down your final order as far as your running load up and everything else. We'll talk points and everything else here for the Loud Pedal Motorsports Grand Prix of Road America. Plasma Tracks Victory Lane post-race show coming right up. Well, once again, racing is over here at Road America for today. Welcome back to the Plasma Tracks Victory Lane post-race show. If you're struggling to find something for the person who has everything, do I have the website for you? Plasma-Tracks.com not only produces original racetrack wall art, it produces motorsports trophies, home decor, and motorsports fabrication. Well, they're also available. Words cannot do justice to the uniqueness of their wares. The only way to fully appreciate their artwork is to see it for yourself. But be warned, one visit, and the next thing you know, you'll be trying to convince your spouse why you need a Plasma Track wall art hanging in your home. See it all at plasma-tracks.com, and we'll move on to the final standings here for today. And, well, it was not necessarily a tight one up front, as Alex Saunders led this thing from flag to flag, with the exception of the pit cycle. Adam Blocker right behind him after recovering from from not the greatest of starts going into turn one. Justin Weaver, though, another very quiet day out of Justin Weaver. He'll bring it home in third. Jason Galvin in fourth. Michael Goodman in fifth. Dan Garrett. How about Dan Garrett? Getting his way up in the sixth position. Same with Sammy Ryman, climbing up a few spots in seventh. Travis Jägerliner in eighth. Paul Jenkins in ninth. And Scott Johnson in 10th.
Mark Workman was able to hold off George Anzaldo for 11th, and Zaldo can take solace in knowing he was the last car on the lead lap. And the Baker's dozen spot one lap down. It's Mark Cohen. He's going to be ahead of Chris Sleepy Lanini. Robert Bluen in 15th. All ribbons and curls, Brian Yazik in the sweet 16th position, although he was 4 laps down. David Altman, James Brandt, Andrew Kinsella. He did lead a lap, have a catch when in the pit cycle, but had to give that up right away, then crashed the car. He has to settle for 19th. 20th is Ron Hacker. Now let's finish out the rest of these. Frank Beezer, Chris Walker, Chris Stouffer, Cody Wenzen, and Dustin Wardlow, the Candyman, gets last in 25th. Adam?
Yeah, of course, attrition seemed like it was the name of the game here for today, but not the name necessarily for Adam Blocker, as I believe Soup is going to catch up with Adam.
All right, Adam, second place. You had nothing for Alex, though, today.
Well, actually, I disagree. I think I had something for him, but yeah, I just, because we pretty much had the same pace all race, I just kind of, I could have gotten pole. I was up by 100th or 2 going into the final corner of my last lap, and I just pushed it too hard and spun. So yeah, if I had gotten pole, you know, it would have been a lot different, because I lost a good bit of time at the beginning because Justin got a better start than I did, and I had to get past Justin. So by the time I got past Justin, I was like a couple seconds down. Then I started reeling in Saunders, and then over the second half of the first stint, that's where he killed me, because I think I went from, you know, like 2 seconds behind, 2.5 seconds, to like 4.5. And then on the second stint, I started clawing it back to 3, but you know, it just, you know, pace was pretty comparable, but once you lose a little bit of time in a fight that's that tight, you know, can't do much about it.
Explain to me what happens on the start and why sometimes drivers get a bad start. What happened to you, and why did Weaver get you?
At least for me, starting second is the absolute worst place to start, because at least I'm on a single screen, so I'm having to use the look right button to look at the leader. And so if I'm looking right to look at the leader, I'm also not looking at where I'm going, so I have to make sure my car is lined up straight to go straight. And then, you know, also inevitably the guy in third is going to get a little bit better view because he's right on the gearbox while I'm having to look over to the side. So yeah, and then Justin got wheel to wheel, and I just wanted to, I could have challenged Justin into turn 1, but I was trying to pass Justin in a way that would lose me the least amount of time with Alex, because like the first lap, so Justin was hanging right with Alex and we were in the slipstream, so I was happy to, you know, stay with that. But once I saw Justin starting to fall back, I was like, okay, I have to pass him now.
Okay, well, this is going to do it. 1 to go, and it's the crapshoot at Fontana, so anything can happen. Good luck. You go in with the lead. Let's hope you come out with the lead.
Yeah, it's only 9 points, though, so pretty much it's just whoever finishes in front of who. Yeah, just want to congratulate Alex on the win. It was a really fun race, hard fight all the way, and yeah, I just want to thank you guys for calling the race and all the admins for putting on the league.
Adam Blocker, your runner-up today. Boy, Adam, these guys know the math. He already knows it's going to be 9 points going into that final event.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tight one there. Now, of course, we got Justin Weaver in here with us now. And, hey, Justin, that Moby Dick's machine, man, you able to just be up front, stay up front all day long. Not a wide gap. I'm going to spoil it for you now. You did get a lot of airtime because you just had one of your traditional trouble-free races and bringing it home today, third position. How'd it go?
Yeah, it was, I just tried to keep it, keep it on the racetrack there. And then, I just wanted to have a clean race. Road America is probably one of my favorite tracks. One of my favorite tracks. It's such a great track, no matter what car you run. You run here, and the old Moby Dickie's machine was hooked up, and I just felt very comfortable with the racetrack. Kind of do what I did there, just to try to stay out of trouble. And, I let Adam there know that I was there for the first part of the first run there, and then of course those two guys checked out, and I was like, well, if they're just going to check out, I'm just going to kind of ride here. But I just made sure I kept myself on my toes there, just so I didn't have any lulls or anything. And then the team started talking about fuel stuff, so that's when I kind of went into that whole last run there. I kind of just went into fuel saving to just keep it on the track, and I got to say I'm really thrilled getting a third place finish tonight.
Well, of course, you're in the running you might be able to get up as high as maybe fifth in the point standings here, coming in and out of California here in a couple weeks. What are you thinking about your chances there? I mean, if experience tells us anything, it's going to be one of those crapshoot kind of races where anything can happen.
I agree. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of these L79 cars on ovals. I think they should be banned from ovals because the car is so much fun to drive. But it is double points race, and I'm going to give it the best effort I can there at California, because it's double points week and everything's on the marbles, and you just never know. I'm just going to try to put myself in the best position possible, and run as hard as I can, and let the points come out the way they are, and if we get a good finish, then we got a chance to move up, and that'd be pretty awesome here the first year running this stuff.
All right, well, hey Justin, appreciate you stopping by. Got anything to say at the folks at Moby Dick's if they're watching?
Hey, just keep those beers cold, because we got the weekend coming, and it's getting a little chilly here in Middle Tennessee. So, and always remember, a little Dickie will do you, boys.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, Justin. All righty. So we'll go ahead and Alex Saunders got here into the booth late. Go ahead and let Soup have a chat with him.
Oh, Alex, congratulations on the win. How much did you have to save fuel?
Quite a lot. Most of the second stint, I was coasting. Probably, I think when we caught the 3-lapped cars at the end, I turned it up a little bit there, but for the most part, it was lift and coast.
Okay, you've got yourself 8 wins, but you're still behind Blocker in the points, but you're going to Fontana. Let's talk about that one. How do you feel about Auto Club?
I think Adam said a couple races ago, the races like that are kind of just a coin flip. You don't know what's going to happen. It's just going to be a big draft pack, and I'm thinking back to Michigan, because they're real similar tracks where I was just a bystander in a crash. So yeah, I'm kind of on board with him. It's going to be kind of a coin flip. See who gets it. I at least got myself close enough where I got a chance, and see what happens.
Well, if you have the opportunity when you're racing, you want to be out in front, I would think, probably safer in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, I always like being out front rather than being 4th row, 5th row. But you kind of just gotta take what the race gives you. So we'll see what happens.
All right, we'll be doing the math during the whole race. Congratulations on the win today, and good luck in the finale.
Thanks, guys.
Alex Saunders, your winner today, and close enough to make it exciting when we go to California.
Yeah, I think California is going to be an awfully exciting race here in 2 weeks. We were able to get Jason Galvin in here real quick for just a quick question. Jason, of course, attrition was the name of the game here at Road America for today. Tell us about surviving.
Yeah, it was tough for me. I thought I had a really good car and was really excited for this race. I've kind of taken some time off to be with the family, and I boinked qualifying like I've never in my life. I only got 3 laps in. Only one of them counted. It was like 2 seconds slow. I had my second lap was going to be in the 55s and put me 4th. And I just totally missed it. The last corner, I've never missed that corner in my life at Road America. So I started 15th, and the first lap was super hairy. I made some aggressive moves because you kind of have to. And thankfully everybody raced clean. And And then from there, it was just a matter of trying to chase down Brian Yazik and Michael Goodman and Dan Guerin and Kinsella. And we all know that's not easy. So fortunately, I hate it for Dustin that he had the issue and Andrew went off. And so that's probably 2 cars right there. And I was just able to time the rest of it. So thankful for the rest of my team and a great run for Raven Motorsports. And I think we're going to lock the team championship up at Auto Club. I feel good about it.
Yeah, so I mean, great run today, and then Auto Club, of course, place anything can happen. So we look forward to seeing you there, Jason. With that, though, we're going to go ahead and close up shop here for tonight on the Plasma Tracks Victory Lane post-race show, and also wrap up the race here overall at Road America. And when it's time to go sim racing again, nothing's going to beat the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulation, designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulation.com. And Butt Kicker products will let you add an instant immersion to any game. Unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force, Butt Kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. Butt Kicker products add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism immersion to your sessions. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com. Use the promo code LION20 to get 20% off your order. And don't forget the Sim Pit, an entertainment channel dedicated to sim racing. Its focus is to bring you news, reviews, and information from around the world about sim racing hardware and software. It also focuses on what it takes to be a better sim racer, with instructional video and how-tos that will help your performance on the virtual track. Check it out at thesimpit.com. And to contact any of the sponsors you see on the screen right now, go to lionheartracingseries.com, click on 2018 sponsors, read or scroll to the bottom where you can click on the company logo. On the screen now are just some of the companies, equipment, and software that made this broadcast possible. The iconic original music that lets your ears alert your eyes you're watching a GSRC production comes courtesy of Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them.
It's not my fault I missed my cue. Jason Galvin was bothering me there. Lionheart Retro Series returns for the Sophomore Series finale a week after Thanksgiving, November 29th. For the Lionheart Championship 250 presented by Dwarfs Candy. GSRC via the iRacing Esports Network will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us. Sliding across your screen now are just some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including a complete list of all future broadcasts, you can find it at GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. And if you're not already a GSRC YouTube channel subscriber, you can become one by simply visiting the YouTube channel and hitting that subscribe button. Adam?
Yeah, finally, on behalf of the crew, Soup, Amjad, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you on the iRacing Esports Network for watching, and we hope you enjoyed the broadcast. So until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.